The house that remembers. The house at 47 Linden Avenue had been on the market for over 30 years. Realtors came and went. Some lasted a day, others a week. None could sell it. Some blamed the neighborhood. Others said the layout was strange. But Natalie Granger was different. She was the youngest, sharpest agent in the district. She sold homes others gave up on. When she saw the file on 47 Linden, her curiosity sparked. The record showed it had only one owner, a family of three. The Bakers disappeared in 1991. No sales since, no renters, nothing. But the taxes were still paid, every year, on time, in cash. She decided to visit. The house looked ordinary. Red brick, 2 stories, small porch, white trim. But something felt off even from the sidewalk. The windows were too clean. The air smelled faintly of old wood and something sweeter, familiar but unplaceable. She walked in. The door creaked open without resistance. No dust, no cobwebs. The lights worked. The fridge hummed. She checked her phone. Full signal. Good. She explored. The living room had green carpet. A glass bowl of candy sat on the coffee table, melted into a sticky mess. In the kitchen, a tea kettle sat on the stove. Cold. The hallway held family photos on the wall. She stared. They were blinking. She leaned closer. No. Must be a trick of light. Upstairs, 3 bedrooms. 1 master, 1 guest, and a child's room. In the child's room, toys were scattered like someone had just played. A music box sat open, its ballerina spinning slowly without sound. Then the mirror shifted, not the angle, the reflection. In it, she saw a man walk past behind her. She spun. Nothing. Natalie backed away from the mirror, her heartbeat sharp. Her instinct said leave, but her pride said stay. She was imagining things. Old houses creaked, reflections warped. She stayed. That night, she brought her laptop to the kitchen table, took notes, sent emails. Around 10:47 p.m., she heard laughter, a child's laughter. It echoed from the upstairs hallway. Her breath caught. She waited. Silence. Footsteps followed, soft, bare feet across hardwood. She grabbed her flashlight and followed. The hallway was empty, but the photos on the wall had changed. The frames were the same, but now they were blank. Just a gray haze inside each one. The hallway light flickered, went dark. She turned. At the end of the hall stood a small boy, wet pajamas, mouth open. No sound. Natalie whispered, "Are you okay?" He stepped back, into the wall, and vanished. She screamed, ran for the front door. It wouldn't open. The knob turned, but nothing moved. It felt fused with the frame. Behind her, the kitchen light turned on by itself. She ran back, desperate. The clock on the wall read 3:11 a.m. Then the house shifted, like time hiccuped. The candy bowl was full again. Music box closed. Photos back on the wall. Everything reset. Natalie sat frozen. It was the same moment she'd arrived. The sun outside, back in its evening position. Her phone buzzed, a new message. "Let me know how the showing goes." Same as yesterday, except yesterday never ended. She tried again the next night, and again. Every time at exactly 3:11 a.m., the house reset. Furniture in the same place, food rewrapped, lights blinking in rhythm. She wasn't aging, she wasn't eating, she was just stuck. On the 7th loop, she stayed up, sat in the master bedroom. At 3:10 a.m., she stared into the mirror. This time, her reflection didn't match her. It was older, smiling. "I remember you," it said. "You were brave." Natalie asked, "What do you want?" The reflection tilted its head. The house remembers who enters, and it always needs someone to watch. She smashed the mirror. Nothing changed. On the 10th day, she tore through the walls, found old toys, notes, a diary. The last entry read, "We should never have answered the knock. The house is not a house. It is a memory, and we are its story. Natalie screamed into the walls. No one answered. At 3:11 a.m., it reset. On the 21st loop, a new realtor came. Walked through the door, a man, young, confident. Natalie watched from the top of the stairs, smiling faintly. She'd learned. To escape, the house needed a replacement, and now it had one. The lighthouse that watches. Ethan Malone needed silence. The kind that blanketed the air so fully, you could hear your own thoughts echo back. After 10 years chasing stories in New York, his brain buzzed like an electric fence. Burnout wasn't even the word, so he left. Packed only what fit in his old Volvo and pointed it toward the coast of Maine. That's how he arrived at the town of Grayshore, a name he hadn't heard before, not even once, which was strange. Because Grayshore had existed for more than 200 years, it was quiet, too quiet. The people looked tired, not physically, but like they'd been holding their breath for decades. The motel clerk, a woman with long white hair and a hoarse voice, asked for no ID. Just one night, she asked? Ethan said, maybe more. She gave him a room key, but no smile. On his second day, Ethan took a walk down to the coast. The sea crashed angrily against jagged cliffs. Then he saw it. The lighthouse. It stood alone on a peninsula of rock, white paint chipped away by years of salt and storms. A black lantern room at the top, glass fractured in one panel like a spider web. But it wasn't the structure that chilled him. It was the fact that it was facing inward, not out to sea. The lens pointed straight back at the town, back at him. He returned to town asking questions. That lighthouse, he said to a man stocking shelves at the general store, is it still in use? The man's hands froze. He turned slowly. Best not to talk about it, stranger. Ethan pressed, but the man only muttered, it sees enough without you feeding it. At dinner, Ethan met a girl named Marla, bartender. Young, but her eyes were too old. He asked her the same. She looked around first, then leaned in. It started a long time ago. No one remembers the exact year. Just that one night, the light turned on, and someone disappeared. Disappeared, Ethan said. Gone. No trace, not a sound. Just gone. And every time the light turns on again, it lands on a different house. Ethan thought it was just folklore, superstition. But that night, at exactly 2:03 a.m., he stood at his motel window and watched the lighthouse flare to life. A soft white beam. Slowly, deliberately, it turned and came to rest on a 2-story green house down the hill. Ethan didn't sleep. By morning, there were cops at that house. An older man, store owner, he realized, was gone, vanished. No forced entry, bed still made, coffee mug half full on the table. Ethan's blood ran cold. He started researching. The town records were sparse, pages missing. But at the library, buried in the basement, he found a dusty binder labeled Town Watch Log, 1901-1920. Every few pages, a name was underlined in red ink. Then, beside it, a symbol of a circle with rays. The lighthouse, no explanations, no bodies found. He started seeing the light every night, like it knew he was watching. And every time it turned, his breath caught in his throat. Not me. Please, not me. Marla tried to warn him. They say it doesn't just shine, she said. It chooses. When you see it long enough, when you start chasing it, it wants you. Ethan laughed nervously. Are you saying the lighthouse is alive? No, she said. I'm saying it remembers. He broke into it. On the 5th night, he hiked across the rocks with a flashlight and bolt cutters. The door was old iron, rusted and chained shut. It took him 30 minutes to get inside. The interior reeked of brine and mold. The stairs spiraled up, coated in dust. But the top room, the lantern room, was pristine, clean, as if someone had scrubbed it yesterday. And in the center, under the giant lens, sat an old wooden chair, facing inward, toward the town. On the walls were names carved over and over, some familiar, some faded. Ethan turned. In the reflection of the glass, he saw himself. But his eyes were wrong. Darker. Empty. He ran. That night, the light didn't turn on at 2:03. It turned on at 2:04, and it pointed directly at the motel, Ethan's window. He felt the warmth on his skin. When he tried to move, his legs wouldn't respond. His body refused to listen. The room pulsed. He blinked once and found himself in the chair in the lighthouse, staring down at the town. Except he couldn't move, couldn't scream, just watch. And down in the motel, through the lens, he saw a man standing at the window, watching him back. A man who looked exactly like him.